season is over with, do you think that you will talk among the three of you and?
Oh, yeah.
talk about
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely
As
get
it
there.
airs, we're probably gonna be on the phone.
Yeah.
Talking to each other. Yeah, I can't wait to see what suffering they went through.
And I'm waiting to see his.
Vice versa,
Well,
yeah.
we asked for a postseason get together where we can all talk about it.
And they may do
And
that.
they said that's a great idea, but who knows?
Might happen.
That's right, we can do our own.
Was there any way to determine if anyone had an advantage, more resources in their area?
They went through a lot of effort to find very similar places for everybody. So
Yeah, they had similar degrees of suck. They
They were all wet.
were all wet,
Yeah.
and there was salt water at all of them.
Yeah, that question kind of came up in the process, and they were just really diligent about that. They had a survival expert, and to make sure there was no strange, like he might know us. I mean, he came from England. They brought a guy from out of the country, and he went to each site and did an assessment, and he was like, okay, fresh water, this resource, that resource, and it was level. Yeah. They did everything they possibly could to make it just as real as it could be and fair as it could be.
short of dropping all 10 of us in the exact same spot and just letting it be, last man standing. I mean, they did what they could. So.
They even, we got our locations in the form of a number and a fortune.
Yeah, we drew them
Yeah, it was
random.
random.
It's so random.
Draw for your slot.
That was an unfortunate cookie.
It was.
They made them themselves. They tried. God bless.
The leprechaun made. They
did.
were really chewy.
Yeah, so
They're supposed to be crisp. But they had little pieces of paper in there, and you got a number, and that was your site, so it was random. You literally grabbed it off the plate and went, okay, I'm going to be numbered whatever. So definitely no rigging possible that way.
none of that.
Yes, ma'am.
One, did you have GPS locators? I mean, did they know, how did they?
Yes, that was when Brant was talking about the yellow brick device. But mine never worked, just like the sat phone. I was in this little black hole area. If at low tide I went out and stood on a specific rock, faced it east, and then raised one leg, I could just maybe get a signal for a second. And that was it. And there was a red button on it. As you were being mauled or bleeding out, you could hold it for 5 seconds, and they would dispatch the whatever.
Canadian Coast Guard.
Yeah.
You'd die. Yeah, the body recovery.
Pallbearers.
Is that how did you let them know you wanted to come out?
Yeah, you start trying.
Red button or sat phone, if you get a signal.
They think that.
When you get a signal.
I'll try tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So they didn't get the message immediately.
No.
You sent it.
If you actually had a signal, yes, they did.
Right.
Well,
They
wouldn't
got
it
it
be
instant.
ironic if somebody won because they didn't get their signal? They would
Well,
like
here's the
that.
thing. Now, okay, that's another thing. When our foot touched the ground, my clock started. The time, they thought everything out. As soon as my foot hit the ground, my clock started. When he hit the ground, his foot started. When your foot left the ground, end of time. So that, if he were on the island 30 seconds longer, if it came down to that, they had even taken it to that level, to where they filmed you and had documentation of the time when you touched down and when you came out. Very, very fair.
How much do you think they spent on all this?
A bunch.
A bunch of money. We tore up some stuff.
The cameras alone.
We
Yeah, we
tore
went through
some
some
shit up.
cameras. Yeah.
The front end was, all the vehicles, planes, trains, and automobiles, boats,
They just rented helicopters for
Seaplanes,
transport, and
transport,
filming
yeah.
purposes and all this. A lot
Unreal.
of money.
And not to mention 10 of us, moving us, all of us out there, moving the camera equipment for all of us out there, having access. There's a company, I guess, in LA that, for the film industry, that takes these cameras and just constantly refurbishes them, getting them back out on the streets. And they must have had these guys wore slap out.
You guys ready for the late night TV circuit?
Like
It's all done?
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
They have late night TV? I don't have a TV. That's ironic.
Water.
Sir?
Does this change your views on prepping and surviving
Yes.
what's to be coming?
I think a little bit. For me, the big takeaway was how important your mindset is, psychology. It's not cool to talk about that. We want to talk about the guns and the knives and stuff, but in the end, it comes down to mindset. You've got to have some solid skills too, but But ultimately, and the longer the situation goes on, once you get past the core temp and the hydration and eating and staying alive, at the end of the day, it's where your head's at and your ability to monitor yourself. Because you're not part of a team. You have to be looking at you in a very clinical, detached way, saying, you need to hydrate, you need to do this. So it's hypervigilance.
You know, for me, it was the same way. The last weekend was my birthday, and when I turned 42. And anyway, our well died. I was cutting strawberries at the sink, flipping on. I've got 3 daughters, and my wife, and the well dies, and pump died on it. So we went 24 hours without water, and you know, it was like almost like a flashback. I'm thinking of all the places I could find to get water just to flush the toilets. You know, so the girls can flush the toilets or brush their teeth, you know, with water. And so for me, you know, every little thing that happened to me, and during the show, being without those luxuries, being without any luxury at all, completely off the grid, it changes your mindset of, you know, now I used to not carry a water filter in Africa. Now I carry a small Walmart water filter everywhere I go. Because the water there is brown. I mean, it's just muddy brown water, and, you know, it's just nasty. So, but, you know, I've always thought, oh, I've always got water. There's creeks, there's rivers, I'll be fine. And now I carry a filter. I've been carrying it for the last 2 trips I've done, or 3 trips I've done since I've done the show. So but I looked at this, you know, when I came here, I looked at that pump over there, and I'm thinking, you know, that right there would have saved my bacon. You know, I can still flush toilets, I can still, you know, provide water for the family. It change every little event in your life that changes. Anybody here been through floods or ice storms, things like that? And you know what I mean. And when I met my wife, her grandfather was bedridden with Alzheimer's, and her grandmother lost power for, 7 days, baby? 7 days. And, this is all the things in my life that I've stacked up. And not only that, working in countries that have literally fallen and gone into civil war or just, war or whatever, and watching how they react and how the people react when the power goes out, when the water quits flowing, when the sewage starts backing up, when the trash starts building up on the streets. Everything that, including the show, everything I've ever gone through has kind of molded me into what I am, or it's kind of moving forward. I don't have a super prepper home or anything like that. I'm actually just getting into it, starting to learn more, and the reason is because I've had more and more of these incidences that have happened and experiences in my life, and it's almost like, okay, the universe is knocking on the door, but I'm not listening. I need to go ahead and make some changes to make my life a little bit easier and the lives of my family, at home, when the power goes out, or when we have a tornado, a storm, or whatever. So,
After being up there, some of my big takeaway was that would affect preparedness. If I could only have 3 things on me, it would be a knife, a stainless steel apparatus, a pot, cup of some kind, and a ferro rod. Those would be the 3 things I would want to walk off into the.
What was the third one?
Ferro rod.
Fire steel?
Fire steel, just right. Those 3 I'd say would be the key pieces. A knife, a stainless steel pot, and a ferro rod. And clothing. Because we were limited how much clothing we could have, and you're in it every day. And these pants I'm wearing, what I wore up there.
Yeah.
Cotton kills. You probably know that if you studied.
If it's cold and wet.
Yeah. Wool.
Wool is your
money.
friend.
Merino wool. $30 socks. I'm wearing them now. These are the same socks I've worn up there. Wear them every day. The wool. I washed them. I hadn't worn them every day.
it smelled corn chips. I didn't know what it was.
I rotate between the 2 pairs, turn them inside out and shake them bigger. But so clothing is important, just the little things like that.
Because it's that, the clothing you wear, like for us up there too, that's the first part of your shelter system. Is the clothes you got on your back.